Right now, you're sitting across from someone you know, someone you've believed you understood for years. Their sentences are polished, their smile lands exactly where it should. And yet that fine inner radar of yours flickers. Something here isn't being shown. That feeling, like a faint whisper. Jung spent years following that whisper, and he noticed this. To see someone's real character, you only need to look at two things, not what they say. Not their achievements, poses, or how they act on stage in front of a crowd. Two tells, two leaks. No matter how carefully the image is polished, the truth seeps out there. And most people don't even realize it. Think about it. The moment you hear this, a few faces float into view. Maybe a coworker, maybe a close friend, maybe your partner. Someone you've labeled reliable, calm, put together. But there's a locked drawer, and we're going to open that drawer gently. No breaking, no smashing. Because what Jung said can sting, but it sets you free. To accept oneself completely is frightening. When you look at others, you'll see yourself first. This video is exactly for that, to read the outside and to see the inside. Pause for a second. Don't close your eyes, but turn your attention inward. In the last week, who did you talk about the most? Who did you criticize the most? What behavior snagged your attention? Overconfident, fake polite, manipulative, attention hungry. If those words roll off your tongue easily, there's a trace there. Jung would say, the parts we reject in ourselves show up most vividly in other people. What you don't want to see in you, you paste onto them. It's called projection. And the first leak appears right here, the intensity of your judgment, the dose of the feeling, your breath quickening, your voice sharpening just a notch, your jaw tightening, as if your body were pointing and saying, not there, here. Let me tell you a small story. Ethan is an architect who prides himself on his honesty. In presentations, he sticks to the work. He doesn't butter anyone up. He speaks plainly. There's a colleague in the office named Jake, outgoing, quick to connect, the kind of person who lifts the energy in a meeting. When Ethan talks about Jake, his tone shifts. Shameless, show-off, smooth talker. When Jake gets praised, Ethan's face tightens, and he drops a line you don't forget. That one was luck. Is that all? Not quite. Put on Jung's glasses and a different scene comes into focus. While judging Jake, Ethan is staring straight at a suppressed desire in himself to be more visible, warmer, bolder in the room. But in Ethan's mind, visibility equals insincerity. I'm real, they're performers. That belief traps a current of energy inside him. And what does trapped energy do? It looks for a place to explode. Where does it explode? On someone else, on Jake. This might be hard to hear, but it's liberating. The disproportionate anger you feel toward someone may be pointing to a power inside you that's waiting to be transformed. That doesn't mean be exactly like them. It can mean stop demonizing a potential in me. If that potential is worked and shaped, it becomes strength. Left raw, it turns into attack. This part matters, because what we call shadow isn't garbage. It's raw material. You hammer it, knead it, give it direction. Let's say you can't stand people who are too confident. Really? All of them? Or is there a childhood story where confidence got equated with disrespect? Maybe speaking up and steamrolling others were tossed into the same drawer. It's time to sort that drawer. If you felt the tiniest stir inside right now, drop one line in the comments. I saw it. Because the moment you notice, transformation starts. Remember, the point isn't to let them off the hook. It's to see yourself more cleanly. Now we get to the second leak. The moment the image cracks. Everyone has a persona. You put on your mask and start your day. Professional in meetings, fun with friends, responsible in the family. None of that is wrong. The mask is an interface. The problem is mistaking it for you. Because persona takes energy. Under pressure, energy drops. And right then, unedited reflexes surge to the surface. That's where real character says, "Hello." Maya is a marketing director known for her cool head in a crisis. Everyone sees her as steady at the helm. In a major client meeting, her strategy gets questioned. This campaign lacks depth. Competitors are telling a different story. The words aren't gentle, sure, but they're not lethal either. Maya's body speaks before her words do. Shoulders lift, jaw locks, pitch rises. She goes straight to defense. We had a tight timeline. The data came in late. Then she subtly points to two teammates. That part wasn't in my control. What happened here? The persona cracked. The unshakable image shook for a moment. And through that crack, we saw someone willing to protect her image at the cost of the relationship. Someone who can't yet hold her vulnerability. Jung would jot a note right here. Your first reflex to criticism reveals the bend in your character. Do you attack, freeze, make excuses, or can you pause, breathe, and ask, what's my share in this? Don't wait for a major crisis. Watch the small fissures. Notice how dark your mood gets when your phone dies. Notice your body's reaction when someone cuts in front of you in traffic. Notice that split-second hardness in your face when no one laughs at your joke. These are micro stages. The mask leaks most in micro stages because you're caught off guard. You forget the role and become yourself. That yourself is the material we need to work with. Let's try something tiny, a 1-second experiment. Watch your breath right now. Is it fast, high in your chest? Notice your shoulders, up near your ears. Check your jaw. Is it clenched? If you feel even a little tension, that's not bad. That's data. When you see data, options appear. When options appear, character widens. Maybe for now, you'll just start by dropping your shoulders. Maybe you'll give yourself permission to say, "Give me a minute to think." Maybe you'll crack open a door with, "I can see how you might be right." That small door can air out a whole room. You might be wondering, okay, but how do I say this to someone else? You don't have to. People rarely hear what's said. They pick up what's vibrating. When you stop defending, the other person often softens a little too. It's not a law of physics, but it's a pattern you'll see. I call it consciousness contagion. When you refuse to play the game, the rules shift. At first, some people will be uncomfortable. Those who feed on drama will try to raise the stakes. But some will notice the freshness in the room and draw nearer. Over time, your circle changes. Less defense, more curiosity. Less blame, more responsibility. It's the long game, and it's worth it. Now I'm going to build a crucial bridge. First leak, the intensity of your judgment. Second leak, your first reflex when your image is threatened. Put those together and a third door opens. Let's call it the mirror moment. When you gently hold up a mirror to someone, their response tells you a lot about your shared future. Do you get hard denial, mockery, a quick subject change, or the courage to say, "Yes, that does land for me"? Denial is comfortable in the short term, but stunts growth. Acceptance is uncomfortable up front, but expands both the relationship and your character. Picture a small dialogue. Alex keeps labeling his friend Lily as addicted to attention. It's been days of complaints. You ask him, is it possible you also want to be seen sometimes, but you've forbidden it in yourself? Alex pauses. 2 doors now. Door 1. No way, that's not me. Door 2. Yeah, I think I do, and I'm scared to say it. Door 2 is the moment the stone shifts. The body widens, breath deepens, the face softens. A wave of shame comes, but it passes. And in its place appears a powerful clarity. I can say it. That's a pivot in character. We've been talking through other people until now. Turn the light on yourself. Be honest. Who did you envy this week? Who made you feel invisible? Whose success did you belittle? Luck, connections, PR. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. Either way, take your share first. Do I want to be on that stage? If the answer is yes, redirect that energy from throwing mud into taking a step. Write an email. Make a small attempt. Ask for something. Small but concrete. Because if insight doesn't turn into action, the brain's cleverness can smother the heart's courage. Insight plus step. Change. Anything else is elegant procrastination. Where does ethics come in? Here. It's easy to turn this knowledge into a weapon. Seeing people's weak points can feel like holding a secret ace. But Jung's boundary is clear. Insight should serve love, not power. That's why we're not looking to catch people. We're looking to see and understand them. Burn this into your mind. At the root of every mechanism in the other person is an attempt to feel safe. That awareness softens your edge. Softness doesn't erase your boundary, it sharpens it. Here's my share. Here's your responsibility. Calmer. Let's talk body for a minute. The mind is quick to change costumes. The body doesn't lie. Keep a tiny checklist for yourself. Is your breath in your chest? Are your shoulders high? Is your jaw tight? Are your eyes narrowed and fixed like magnets? Is your voice going shrill? If you notice any of this, don't say, something's wrong. Say, I got data. The second you recognize data, you have options. And when you have options, your character grows. How do you use this in relationships? Start with the simplest move. Use I language. Instead of, you always, try, I experience it like this. Instead of, relax, I was joking, try, the impact went beyond my intention. Sorry. Instead of, you were disrespectful, try, for me, that crosses a boundary. Words get smaller. The person gets bigger. Because the aim isn't to defend, it's to connect. When connection happens, even your shadowy parts agree to join the conversation. Here's your litmus test at work. Feedback. When you're criticized, do you defend your ego or solve the problem? Do your sentences multiply with but? Or can you say, I see my part. I'll fix this now. Leadership doesn't begin in a glossy deck. It begins in your stance at the moment of critique. Train your nervous system, not just your resume. Breath, shoulders, eye level. 3 points. In a crunch, take 3 breaths. Drop your shoulders. Soften your gaze. Then speak. Let words come after your nervous system. What about home, especially with teenagers? How do you hold up a mirror without pouring gasoline on the fire? When a young person says, everyone's fake, instead of, you're right, you're wrong, ask, what scares you most about being yourself? Chances are they'll say, being shut out. Then the topic isn't truth versus lies. It's the capacity to bear the pain of exclusion. When capacity expands, honesty follows on its own. One more thing. Some people really do violate boundaries. Seeing your shadow is not romanticizing harm. Quite the opposite. It helps you set your line more calmly and clearly. Because now your anger doesn't manage you. You manage it. I'm not available for this. I don't allow this tone with me. I'm ending this conversation for now. These sentences grow clarity, not drama. Before we close this first arc, here's a tiny challenge. Today, just today, do 3 small things. 1. Write a single honest sentence about the person you judge most. Then add the answer to, in what small way is this in me? 2. When you hear criticism, be silent for 10 seconds. Just breathe. Then respond with one question. What's the most concrete thing you need from me here? 3. Send a sincere congratulations to someone you envy. Don't deny the envy. Direct its energy. These 3 moves can shift the climate of a whole week. Now go back to the opening scene. That person across from you. Maybe you're still at the same table. Maybe you've long since parted ways, but they're still in your mind. You've got 2 keys now. 1. Notice whom you judge most, why, and with what intensity. 2. Watch your first reflex under pressure. Those 2 keys open doors quietly. And behind those doors, you'll find not only them, but more than anyone, yourself. Because this journey isn't about deciphering others. It's about building yourself. I'll end this arc with a line from Jung, tweaked just a bit. Don't try to be normal. Try to be awake. See your shadow in your judgment, your character under pressure. And each time, be a millimeter more curious, a millimeter more honest, a millimeter more brave. If you caught yourself anywhere in this video, drop a single comment. Caught. Then don't just put your phone down. Take a tiny step today. Because everything you notice outside has a counterpart inside. Change 1 centimeter on the inside, and even the sound of the world shifts. This isn't a flashy revolution. It's a quiet turning, the most lasting kind. Take a deep breath now. Drop your shoulders. Soften your eyes. Let's keep going. You'll see this in intimacy too. Your partner is late. The old you would say fast, as always. The new you notices the inner trigger. Where have you felt this before? Maybe being kept waiting once meant not valued. Add the shadow of the past to today's delay and the feeling swells. Try a tiny experiment. When you're late, I get anxious, like I don't really matter. Can we talk about it? That sentence isn't an attack. It's an invitation. Sometimes closeness begins with a sentence like that. Let's fold the mirror moment into your relationships. This isn't a trick, it's an orientation. A gentle mirror doesn't call up defense, it invites curiosity. When you said that, my face tightened. It poked my old not enough fear. I'm curious what got stirred in you. When you talk this way, the axis of the conversation shifts from blame to curiosity. Where curiosity blooms, closeness takes root. And where closeness grows, masks loosen. When masks loosen, you can finally hear the true voice. Okay, what if the other person isn't ready at all? What if your mirror gets met with sarcasm? Then do 2 things. First, turn toward yourself. Is staying in this dynamic good for your health? Second, make your boundaries explicit. When the tone goes there, I shut down. I'm taking a break. That's not punishment, that's self-regulation. If you can't safeguard your own nervous system, you can't be of use to anyone. Yes, sometimes the person you love most triggers your hardest mirror. And yes, sometimes love is distance. Another common trap. If I see my shadow, I must be endlessly understanding. No, shadow work isn't normalizing mistreatment. In fact, because you can see my share, you can point more cleanly to your responsibility. That clarity blows away the smoke of anger and sharpens your aim. I don't deserve this. I'm not saying yes to that. I'm stopping this conversation now. These are vows of self-loyalty. Let's change the scene to family. Think of someone who's clashed with a critical, comparing parent for years. Whenever they share a win, the parent answers with a but. The deeper the wound, the sharper that but feels, like a knife. One day, the person notices that part of this pain hits an old ache around wanting to be seen. Maybe the parent never changes, but the person does. Their achievements are no longer attempts to earn approval. They're ways to live with meaning. The parent says, "but," again. And the person says, "That's tough to hear. I'm learning to live with it. This matters to me." That sentence might not change the parent, but for the first time, the person becomes their own parent. The inner child finds inside what it couldn't get outside. That's one of the great gifts that comes up from under the shadow. Let's set a practice. Start a weekly mini ritual called the Shadow Journal. Each night before bed, write down the person who triggered you most that day. Write your first judgment about them. Then ask, in what small way is this in me? If you find a sliver, choose a tiny action for tomorrow. If you cut people off, give one person space. If you feel invisible, say a sentence early in a meeting. If you feel envy, send a sincere compliment. These micro moves, compounded, strip years of rust. Add a mask break, too. When you hear criticism, don't fire back automatically. The 10-second rule. Count your breath. Whisper slow 3 times inside. Even that can change the fate of your sentences. Speed is the fuel of defense. Slowness is the room where awareness lives. Slow down, and you'll hear what you missed. Maybe 10% of the feedback is true. That 10% is the seed of growth. At work, while you chase quick fixes, add quick repair. If someone is hurt and you hear it, apologize. "That wasn't my intention" isn't enough. Say, "The impact exceeded my intention. I'm sorry." Then offer a small repair. "What would help now?" That's the golden sentence that rebuilds trust. Trust is the child of truth. It grows through repair. Now let's open positive projection. Think of the people you idolize. While you lift them to the sky, do you bury yourself underground? There may be a lost potential down there. The spark they own might be one you've kept waiting for years. "Who am I to" is the killer of potential. "I'll try" is the birth of it. I'm not asking for a grand leap. A first awkward attempt is enough. Turn on the camera and speak for 2 minutes. Record a melody. Send a paragraph to a friend. The ones that begin small tend to endure. Let's move into a tougher zone, self-manipulation. Sometimes the biggest mask we wear isn't for others, it's for ourselves. The "I'm fine" mask. The "I'm strong" mask. The "I understand everything" mask. When do you put those on most? When you're alone. After a win? After a loss? Masks aren't evil, but if you don't take them off in the right places, they choke you. One evening, say to yourself, "What was hard today?" and listen without taking sides. That's not weakness, that's hygiene for strength. Strength that isn't cleaned starts to smell. When should I get professional help is a worthy question. If you keep falling into the same relational loops, if you hurt in similar ways with similar people, if you feel torn between setting a boundary and drowning in guilt. Another person's skilled witness can accelerate your process. You don't have to wrestle with the shadow alone. A good guide doesn't walk the path for you. They hold the map while you walk. As we approach the close, hear this. This isn't a course on how to figure people out. It's a course on how to build yourself. People aren't puzzles to solve. They're universes to meet. Some universes are healthiest, admired from afar. Some you can visit daily. You'll know which universes are good for you by watching your shadow and your mask. When you see your shadow, don't be ashamed. Fold it gently into your life. When your mask cracks, don't go to war. Repair with breath, curiosity, and small responsibility. Even now, something small may have shifted on your side of the screen. Maybe your shoulders dropped. Maybe your breath slowed. Maybe a name surfaced, and you revised that person's story just a bit. These small changes are omens of big pivots. Today a centimeter, tomorrow a centimeter. One day you'll notice the old trigger doesn't sweep you away. The same sentence doesn't topple you. The same look doesn't pierce you. Because a new center of gravity has formed inside. Its name is wholeness. One request. If you recognized yourself anywhere in this talk, type "me too." That's it. Sometimes the biggest transformations begin with the simplest admissions. Me too. Then take a tiny step today. Thank someone. Set a boundary. Ask a curious question. Tell. And just before we truly finish, a whisper. No one can steward the light in you better than you can. Dimming it or opening it is in your hands. When you reject your shadow, your light fades. When you accept your shadow, your light deepens. Deep light is steady light. Steady light is visible from far away. Light that's seen from afar becomes a path for those who have paths to walk. If you've come all the way here, thank you. Walking this long road together isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because at the end, what we find isn't the underside of someone else's mask. It's our own essence. See your shadow in your judgments. See your character under pressure. And each time, be a millimeter more curious, a millimeter kinder, a millimeter braver. Take one more deep breath now. Shoulders released, eyes soft, heart open. The road goes on. I'm here. If you're ready, we've already begun.